You guys are listening to the Masculinity Show, a podcast for introverts to become more masculine and get the body of an alpha male. And of course, get more mentally healthy and get that seducer's mindset, if you get me. And lastly, I help guys become more desirable and get the mindset of a seducer. Let's get into the podcast. You never want to run out of things to talk about. I don't blame you, bro. I don't blame you. All right, guys, listen. I know you tuned into this podcast and you heard that new intro. You're like, oh shit, what's Adam doing now with this podcast? Okay, listen up. Guys, I have a big announcement next Monday, so come back, all right? Big announcement. Now, before I proceed, understand that in this episode, I'm going to talk about quite a few things on basically how to never run out of things to say and to talk about with girls. I've talked about this before, all right? You can just find it, go throughout my library called Never Run Out of Things to Say by doing this, okay? But today I'm more talking about different ways to never run out of things to say. That's more about storytelling and shit like that. Now, first off, you guys understand that the announcement is coming next Monday. Now, I want to talk to you guys about this real quick, okay? Look, understand that when conversing with girls, you've got to don't talk to her about her friends, okay? That's boring, all right? You should tell her, right? All right, so here's an example of how to never run out of things to say, right? How to never run out of things to say, okay? You don't talk about what kind of stuff she's into, right? That's boring, all right? You don't talk about her friends. That's boring. You don't talk about how good of a friend she is. That's boring. You tell her she should have charged her friend for the help. So now she can splurge all the money on getting you drunk for the night. That's just an example of if you're at the bar. Now, first off, you guys, I wouldn't say that because I don't drink. But that's just an example, all right? That's just an example. Now, let's keep moving forward, you guys. I want to talk to you guys about the biggest, most important thing that I really want you guys to understand when it comes to basically effortless, attractive, conversational threads, as I talk about in my book called How to Always Know What to Say, right? Guys, I have a book on my website called How to Always Know What to Say, so I would really appreciate if you just download that book. If you're not going to leave me a 5-star review, just at least download that book. I appreciate you. Okay, thanks. Let's keep going, you guys. Let's keep moving forward. This is the one thing that I really have to tell you right now about good, attractive, effortless conversational threads. Let's go. All right. That is man to woman dynamic. All right. Man to woman dynamic. Now, next Monday, you guys, I'm going to go even deeper and get pretty fucking dirty. But I want to tell you something that is, understand that in this episode, I'm going to give you guys some ways to never run out of things to say that's not so freaking scary for some of you guys. If you catch my drift. Because I know a lot of you, you're thinking, Adam, half of your podcasts, I don't know how to freaking move that conversation forward in a sexual route. Well, look, I used to have that issue a long time ago, but now I know better to not be like that. The point is to have sexual self-entitlement. Now, let's keep moving forward, you guys. Let's keep moving forward. It's all about basically getting her on that emotional high point, right? You have to get her laughing. Now, understand that it's all about that man to woman dynamic, okay? That man to woman dynamic. And you've got to have that good, playful, non-needy energy on top of man to woman dynamic. So you both should be constantly sharing relatable stories back and forth, constantly picking up on different potential conversation threads throughout, all right? That's the big point, right? So I'll say that one more time. You both should be constantly sharing relatable stories back and forth, constantly picking up on different potential conversation threads, okay? Conversational threads. Attractive conversational threads. Yes, let's go. All right. You should consistently be creating little threads off of the main story that you're sharing with her, okay? Let's just say, for example, I'm talking to this chick, right? And I'm telling her that, years ago, I used to run track. Now, when I was running track, I would do the 100-meter sprint, and I would just run down the track, but then I got hurt, right? And I couldn't really attend the track meet. And after that, I had to skip out on these track meets, and I got really sad. And then it kind of just, really shot a puddle of freaking diarrhea, right? On my mood. And so I basically had to talk to my coach. And I said, Coach, is there by any chance that I can at least jog? And he would say, yeah, Adam, just go for it. And I would often say, all right, thank you, Coach. I will continue jogging and I will get better at my running. Now, here's the point here, you guys. What is the point, you guys? Understand that you've got to just share relatable stories, okay? Because if I'm talking to a track runner, right? If I'm talking to someone who likes to run, then I'm going to talk about that. You get me? But also, I'm going to remind you guys that you should be saying, look, honestly, you and I should kind of have a little speedy race competition sometime, because I think that you and me, we would never get along, because clearly I know that I would sprint and you would get way too mad at me because I'd run faster than you, and you'd be like, Adam, come on, why are you doing that shit? You're running faster than me. I don't like you, Adam. All right, that's the point, you guys. You see what I'm doing here? I am being very fucking slick in my conversational threads, if you get me. I talked about how basically I got hurt at a track meet, right? And how that basically destroyed my state of mind. I got so hurt and I couldn't fucking run. All right, guys, I'm not going to do that. Feminine bullshit. Now, what's the point here, you guys? I come back to the original tangent, how I'm actually going to break rapport, right? And how I'm going to actually tell her, I'm saying, look, honestly, there's no way that you can keep up with me on a track run, right? Or even if you try to sprint with me, there's no way that you can sprint as fast as me. You get me? Guys, that right there is a good conversational flow, all right? And understanding that right there is a good example of basically a solid story that is good to tell. Now, it doesn't matter if you played soccer or fucking played basketball. I don't care what you fucking did. Even if you don't play sports, you guys, just tell a story, all right? Tell more stories, and understand that when you tell stories, this is powerful. Here's a big point behind this podcast, you guys. Here's a big fucking point. There's one more important thing that I want you to understand when it comes to basically attractive conversational threads. You have to understand the conversation investment principle between you and her, okay? Now, this right here, I address very specifically in how to always know what to say, right? How to always know what to say, if you get me. Now, I want to tell you guys something, all right? The best kind of circulating topics in attractive conversation, pop culture, pop culture. Anything going on in pop culture are always stimulating discussion topics, okay? I'm talking kind of fast, you guys. So, this right here is how you stop being boring, you guys, okay? This right here is how to stop being boring. So, I want you to really listen right here, okay? Let's just say, for example, I'm talking to a chick, right? And here's what I say to her, right? State your take on the topic first, and then you let it ride, all right? Okay, I want to talk about something really, truly important. What's up with Tom and Katie, right? How was Tom not smarter knowing that Katie's dad was the top divorce attorney in the country, right? Just an example, okay? I'm just giving you an example, you guys. So, what's the big point, you guys? What's the big fucking point? The point behind this podcast is for you to never be boring again, okay? Never be boring again. And this right here is how to stop being boring, all right? I talked about pop culture right here. Just something random. I don't give a fuck. I talked about Tom and Katie, even though that's news that happened years ago, but whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter what you talk about. Just understand that if you don't know Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes, get in the freaking loop, you guys, on celebrities. That right there is topics to talk about. But again, I know that's old news. The big point here, you guys, is to stop being boring. So, again, remember the conversation investment principle, okay? Conversation investment principle. Fuck, I'm talking kind of fast, you guys. I'm a bit fast in my speaking today, so I hope you can keep up with me. All right, Now, the next point is the man to woman dynamic. I talked about that, right? And I also talked about sharing stories, right? How I talked about that track meet, how I got hurt. And I was trying to tell my coach that I wanted to run, even though I was still kind of hurt. Now, guys, I love you. Understand that if you want to stop being boring, you have to remember those 3 things. Man to woman dynamic, the conversation investment principle, attractive conversational threads, sharing stories, and you are a fucking legend. I appreciate you. Peace out. I love you.